Let's get into the match, a best of 5 between NRG and Emotion with the commentary. Shogun and Lawler, take it away, guys.
98.4%. That was the amount of people that when I surveyed earlier on said that NRG were going to take this series against Emotion. How do you see it? Is it that bad?
You want to compare it to their previous series, all right? So we're going to take the only evidence that we have that's in RLCS so far, and it's our series against Rogue. And that wasn't pretty. And now you're playing a team that's even better, in most people's opinion, and in my own opinion, in NRG. It's going to get ugly.
Well, we've got a team here in the form of Emotion. They didn't have the best series previously. It's a team of Ones players that really came together. Tyler, really, I've watched a lot of his Ones gameplay. I'm very impressed by his Ones gameplay. Unfortunately, they're trying to transfer that Ones gameplay into the standard game mode. That does not work.
No,
especially not against NRG, who is a team that's very good at, okay, make your move. Cool, you did it. You got it past one player, nice. We kind of have someone at the back. We're ready to go.
Well, the joke with it is, okay, we always talk about how good Fireburner is at 50-50s. They're more like 90-10s, because he wins every single one of them most of the situation, but then there's that one that slips by. And when that does happen, he's got someone like Jacob or Garrett behind him to take care of it. So the situation, and you saw it a lot actually last year as well out of Cloud9, is where their teammates are not afraid to double back as soon as they get that midfield boost and contest at the midfield, while Garrett just surveys from behind and is like, okay, if you need me, I'm here, but just do your thing. You know, he enables the other two to kind of go crazy.
So Fireburner wins 9 out of 10 50-50s, even against himself. That is what we'll know.
See, the only thing you have to do is just make sure you don't do the 50-50 at all, and that's where that One's gameplay may help them. Just avoid it. You know, go for a mind game, go for a fake. I know once. Sorry, Fire, I love you. I had to.
Make sure you see that GIF. It is a thing of beauty.
It was pure luck and imagination.
Do not give him an out on this.
He's super good, all right? I'm not. Like, you know, you watched the stream yesterday.
Yeah, I did. I watched a man that could fake Fireburner whenever he wants.
Thanks for having me back, man.
I've always got your back, bro. The bromance of Rocket League still going on. But yeah, I 100% agree. I want to see this side of Emotion try a lot more for these passing plays. The team that previously played against NRG, Renegades really just struggled. Once they got the ball, tried to just hit it long. It did not work. This time we're going to see roughly what the attempt is by controlling the ball, playing it towards the middle. I don't know if that's going to work. I really feel like you need someone on that midline to challenge whoever's going to challenge from NRG. That's the only real way of working the ball away from your net. But we'll see. Emotion, I think they'll realize it wasn't working last series. I want to see them come up with something new.
Well, the big problem last series, too, is Illusion was having a really tough time on that back wall. Wave mentioned like it would be nice to see him as that first rotation, and it was. It did help them out a lot. They were able to break it out of their own half. But the issue was then someone needed to be back in his spot, and they just weren't really collecting on that kind of aspect. So it's going to be a weird transition for them going against a team that is notorious for being that midfield defense that shuts anything down. But maybe that One's playstyle will help out, and they need to find some way to break it out.
Well, we're hoping to see something new here from Emotion, a team that was very nervy in their game earlier on. Mistakes that did not need to be made, but hopefully they'll be warmed up and ready to go against the North American champions NRG, who are already 1-0 for this season, 3-0 in games. But we can already see these early challenges coming out from Emotion. Much better gameplay than what I saw from earlier. Kind of retreated during games 2 and 3. That's going to be a shot hitting off the crossbar. Follow-up from Alushin. Turns it into the bottom of the net, but that is exactly what I want to see from Emotion. Lovely pressure to start off game number 1.
Exactly what they need to do. Force the guy out of net and then make sure there was someone there immediately to follow up. This is also great for Illusion. We said just a little bit ago, he had a rough first series. Get him involved early. Make sure he builds that confidence, and those touches are going to fall into place.
So now Ty tries to put that one just over the top. That will give plenty of time to Garrett. Try and come back, and you'll automatically see them trying to use that midfield to control and make it easier to play the ball out of their half. Those whiffs will need to be avoided. They are challenged, and they are punished ever so often at this higher level of play. Seabass, that is going to be a bad touch from him. Puts his team into a slightly difficult position, which they're going to have to try and slowly work out of, but Jacobs tries to move himself forward. All of this from one bad touch. Going back to the point I was making earlier, any mistake will cost you.
A lot of it does have to do with the opportunities that Jacob applies for the what? How? Jacob, stop it, please.
A lot of this is going to come down to really bad position from Alushin. Jacob, yes, did try and go for it, but look at this Alushin. Even if he's going back there, what is he going to do? 180 turn, even then, he's not going to have any opportunity to do something. He needs to be coming in from a wider angle.
No, exactly that. When you rotate into a wide angle, something that has to do with it, and a lot of people face it towards near post and far post. Going to the far post basically gives you more opportunities to not only get boost that's not going to be in your team's way, but also the ability to just make a play on the ball. It gives you time. It's the same reason why when people are in a 1v1 situation, they either challenge early or they go backwards into the net to give themselves more space to make a play.
Opportunity, goes off that back button. Lucian. Okay, no more complaints. Gonna pick himself up his second goal. And once again, the follow-up, but Jacob going for that and did not allow Fireburner, who slowed down when he saw Jacob go up for the ball. And allows Lucian to come in for that rebound.
Yeah, the initial touch from Ty as well, getting in there early with that 50-50. Bounced off a little bit weird. Jacob deciding to rotate back rather than turning around a contest, or that third man back going for the contest. So good opportunity coming out for this team of Emotion.
Looking much better, but they were strong in game number 1 last series. Emotion were. They need to now continue this. They've got the lead. Now they need to hold on to it. It's Garrett. Puts that over to the side. Fireburner will turn that in. Lovely team play. Not using the back wall. Would have made it a little bit too predictable, but instead, cutting it all the way out.
Ty having a rough touch there. He played that into the corner to a waiting Garrett G. Garrett just plays that right back in the middle. And then Fireburner is able to follow it up. Tied 3:06 left in this match. Game number 1 in this best of 5.
And Emotion need to sort this out. They are already 0-2 throughout this season. When it comes to game conversion rate, that is games where you take the opening goal and go on to win. It needs to be much, much better. As Ty almost had an opportunity for a pass there. I can only assume his teammate didn't have boost and communicated to him. Either that or it was a poor attempt for a pinch. Either way, did not work. And we are still all tied up as we head into the second half of this opening game. A long ball played. Just a little bit of a test towards Emotion. See what they're going to try and do, and they have dealt with it very well, using wider angles, stretching NRG's midfield defense, pushing them into the other side. That is going to be a tap straight down, but no one to follow up.
It really is beauty in motion for this NRG team. Watching how they utilize Garrett on that back. Oh, a shot from Jacob at midfield. Putting a boomer on net, but the way they use these rotations, you saw Garrett in defense just a little bit ago. He rotated all the way wide, didn't go for the ball immediately because he had faith of his 2 defenders up front. He is a last-ditch effort. Jacob then comes from out of nowhere, bumps the player off the wall, and then Garrett gets the ball. It's really interesting to watch these guys make that play happen.
Jacob trying to push that one long. That is actually going to be offering the ball straight back to Fireburner. 2 minutes still remaining. Emotion they have to try and find themselves a way back in a game that they've been up in the lead twice. For the first time finding themselves trailing. So that's going to be pushed over into the corner. That is a bad self-bump. Open net and Illusion. Hat-trick.
Bad self-bump indeed. I don't think that even summarizes it as well. Jacob losing that 50-50, but then it just comes through as Fireburner's trying to get back in the net. Runs in the way of Garrett. Open opportunity, and we're all tied up. Nobody on the desk expected this one.
Certainly not. The cleanup crew has not been needed so far. Apart from maybe the dirty, scrappy defense from NRG at times. Sometimes just pushing themselves into positions that they do not need to be in. Illusion has been making the best, though, of those open nets that have been caused. Gonna have an opportunity for another lovely pass straight down, and Ty will turn that into the net. This is the reason why the level of Rocket League is just getting so much better. The team that we expected to be maybe further down the leaderboard is pulling off this.
Can we talk about that pass play from Ty and Illusion? Oh my goodness, this subtle touch to absolutely kill the ball right in front of the net. What a pretty play.
Ty's gonna try and make it 5. Could not quite catch it, but still Emotion with the pressure. Illusion is too close to that net, cannot get there in time, but there will be the follow-up once again for the 3rd time this game. Emotion will find themselves up in the lead. There is some chicanery going on towards the net, but that will not matter because Emotion, 2 goals in the lead, and they just have to hold on for a minute.
Unfortunate positioning for Garrett G. He was upfield trying to make a play, and because of that, he has to rotate back. It jumped with the way the ball is going. Very difficult, because even if he does make that touch, unless he gets some power on it to play it outside, it's going to drop in front of his net.
And Emotion, despite a very shaky opening series. They are pulling it off, but Garrett with the double touch.
This
and
play,
NRGs are back.
This play calculated from the very beginning. Jacob with that phenomenal kickoff plays it directly back into the corner of his teammate, which then allows Garrett to sweep over to the side from a pass from that back line. They do it time and time again. Gibbs did a complete video about it, but to see them do it in action again, something that is totally planned from start to finish.
9 goals in this opening game. And for NRG to make it back, they will have to make it 10.
The danger of kickoffs. Only a couple seconds goes by and we're all tied up yet again.
Having fun, Lawler. It's fun, isn't it? Rocket League's a good game to watch.
Yeah.
So Emotion have given up yet another lead, this time from 2 goals up. But they are still in it, 45 seconds remaining. And with goals coming in as thick and fast as they are, an overtime is certainly not assured. As Aleutian will push that over to the side. He's going to have an opportunity to follow, but did get swept. That bounce using the circular part of the wall. Going to be followed up off that crossbar. Open net after the demo, but could not be capitalized from Garrett. It was a difficult shot, but even in this game, he's made tougher. Now, NRG have got all the pressure, and Ty has been caught out. 10 seconds remaining. Not like this.
For Garrett to play that back towards his corner so it bounces towards his teammate's net, and then a full clear back to Garrett who's up on the wall, like...
You just didn't expect it.
No, like what? Like that doesn't make any sense why that's okay. Like...
Well, so far it has been an 11-goal slobber knocker. Garrett will look to try and put this to the floor. Aleutian gonna be able to do very little of that as NRG still pressing for it. Will finally hit the floor. What an incredible opening game to this series. Emotion, they threw everything into that, but they did take the loss. All right, we know everything that happened there. It's gonna be way too much to try and recap. So I wanna ask you something. In a game like that, where Emotion had the lead so many times, what does that do for them mentally? What needs to happen now? Because a lot of players can look at that and just go, okay, it's like that was our best shot. They need someone to step up.
There's pros and cons to it, and you're definitely right on that. Like, they gave it their all on that game. But that also shows to them that they have the capability to go toe-to-toe with what we call the back-to-back-to-back NA regional champions. Like, it's really good for them, but at the same time, like, if that was their everything, they could be mentally deflated. Counter question for you. Did you ever think that in this series between NRG and Emotion, we were going to see teams tie the record for goals scored in one game?
No, that wasn't the one I really pegged this down to.
Yeah.
Gibbs' prediction of a perfect sweep, it's gone.
It's gone. It's gone.
It's just not happening anymore, but more goals than saves.
That's good.
Whilst it's nice for us to get high-scoring games like that, I think it's time to tighten it up now, lads.
A little bit.
Let's see a defense.
Yeah, it's pretty much the story of that first game is, you said it was very sloppy, and I totally agree. A lot of mistakes that was just leading to one after another, but you did see towards the end, NRG started to get the form, the passes are on point. It's just a matter of, they have always done a very good job of getting it out of their zone very quickly, and then transitioning that into shot opportunities.
Well, as a viewer, sloppy Rocket League is always the best Rocket League.
If it leads to games like that, keep them coming.
But for these professional players, they will want to now tighten it up. Now will be happy with the amount conceded. Now look to try and fix that in game number 2. Emotion will now try and find some answers. I do love the passing plays I did see from them. And even on the cases where they're just taking shots, they were making it so difficult, putting the ball so high that whoever was on defense from NRG just had to try and get any sort of touch rather than a clear, and it allowed Aleutian to come in and get those 3 goals.
Now, with all these guys being ones players as well, there is some major benefits to that. It's just a matter of tying it together. Mechanically, they're all pretty sound. Their positioning is usually okay, and they know when and when not to challenge. It's just a matter of tying that through with positioning and those passes. Because you saw, he has the ability to make those air touches down. Very soft, very gentle, perfectly in place for his teammates. But the teammates need to be there in the first place to help him out.
A lot of players say it's easier to mold a ones player into a threes player than it is vice versa. Has to be agreed with. We see a lot of major teams that have come from the ones leaderboards. Heck, Season 2. Heck, Flipside Tactics to start with.
I mean, look at all the rookies that are coming in this season too.
Indeed, we've got plenty more of them to come. For the time being, it has been prolonged offense for NRG. Still unable to get themselves a final answer to it. Jacobs just pushing this all the way across the field, but still nothing quite happening. I do like that from Emotion. Problem that they had against Renegades, they were constantly trying to chase the ball. This time, allowing it to come to them, realizing Jacobs just used all his boost to go from one side of the field to the other. He can't really do much.
Well, the reason he did that was simply because he was trying to buy time. Fireburner got demoed. They needed...
Oh, double demo. Unfortunately, Ty is still the one remaining. I managed to get rid of that. That was very well in sync.
I mean, Gibbs mentioned a bloodbath, but that's a little bit different side of it.
NRG can be very bumpy at times. Another team I saw very recently make such great use of those demos by slowing down the game was Endpoint, who you can catch in the RLCS every Friday. You want to see some different styles come out in Rocket League, as everyone is just getting themselves a little bit more used to it and starting to develop themselves more and more as this esport grows that much older. NRG still pressing. Emotion haven't seen anything else other than their side of the field for such a long period of time. But NRG are really struggling to put anything together. Garrett, oh, what do you think he'd give for 20 more boost?
Oh, I'm sure he'd give anything, but it's one of those situations where he's the one leading the charge on that situation, but a shot opportunity, a pass top left. Garrett strikes.
Garrett is nothing other than a wall in this scenario, a target for Jacob to aim for. And to turn that straight in, there is nothing you can do on the side of Emotion. Smart play from NRG, recognizing that Emotion had started to retreat towards their own net and using the midfield for a sublime passing play.
From midfield straight up to Garrett, just a 1-2 touch. Very difficult, as he mentioned, to defend. But a lot of it because of this man here, the way he's been. Oh!
Jacob! Take the ball and do it to him.
Just watch, just watch, just watch. That's disgusting. Oh my goodness.
That was lovely. That was absolutely lovely.
Man. That air roll just to flick it over. My goodness.
A moment of zen in Rocket League we just witnessed.
You know, Carpet and those guys joke about the Just Jacob things, but legitimately, who else would do that? Like,
there's very few players that even just decide to try and hold on to their second jump. It's usually something they use automatically. Jacob, with a variation on the pop and the shot, working out very well, and NRG have just grinded this game away, picking themselves up 2 goals very quickly. And they'll try and make it 3. I don't think Emotion have spent any time in the NRG half at all. This might be their first good opportunity, but Seabass is instantly shut down. We are back to the Emotion defense, or are we? We're still trying to find something, but they've only got less than a minute to try and get it.
Fortunate for Seabass there. I would actually, with that touch, he just played it in the corner and threw the possession right back in the middle. He pretty much made a defensive touch for NRG. Situations like that, you can actually just not go for it. Put yourself in a position, force someone on defense to come out and then contest them. It's going to be a better opportunity for you.
Emotion trying hard to keep this ball down. That is going to be an opportunity for Jacob to move forward. I think he expected Ty to take the ball. Fireburner will take that one away from Garrett, who is now on that defensive rotation. Saw him playing a lot more offensive during the summer. It seems like he has retracted back to that third man role. And to be honest, after the performances he had last season, no real problem with that. You can put Garrett anywhere really, and he is going to perform. Fireburner looks to put that off the crossbar, off the backboard, but there will be no follow-up. Does not need a follow-up. NRG are going to take game number 2 with 2 quick strikes. They put down Emotion.
You saw it towards the end there as well, NRG going back into form. Those 50-50s, one after another in the midfield, and that's what they did so much better this game. It's just the thing we tried to talk about until it went all out the door was NRG does a really good job of forcing you to make mistakes on defense, whether it be from lack of boost or just constant pressure. You saw it a lot that game. The first 3 minutes were pretty much spent on Emotion's half consistently the whole time.
It certainly is. A lot of goals in Rocket League are scored through mistakes. People have got better recently. You've got to force those. These are no longer unforced errors that we see. And you can force them by trying to take away boost, get demos, making sure that some part of the natural system has been completely obliterated. And that is what NRG do ever so well. They are continuing to do it here. They've slowed down the pace in this game. I think this pace works for them much better because last game, I mean, it was good to see a defense. I saw a save. Not many, but...
A save.
I mean, most of them just went in, but
yeah.
There's a couple of saves there for NRG.
I mean, you talk about that too, and the thing that makes NRG so good is despite all these things being forced and the pressure and all that kind of stuff, it's just the individual things that they can do. We talked about it a little bit ago about how along the lines that these players, not everybody has to be involved. Garrett can sit back and just let these two do their thing. Okay, you know what? Jacob wants a timeout. Put the other one in. They just rotate evenly, and everybody has that involvement, but at the same time, it isn't needed, and that's what makes it strong, because when all three are involved, you see some of the ridiculous things we just saw.
Well, Emotion are going to have to try and find something here. Spent way too long of that last game in their own half, stuck. So NRG will try and just get this straight back to where they were during the previous series. You see automatically Jacob trying to be a nuisance. He wanted to try and get rid of Seabass. That is a double commit right there, going to allow Emotion to start moving themselves forward. But contact from Garrett will slow this down. So Emotion need to try and make sure they control those two middle boosts. A demo on Ty will make it difficult though, as the rotation will completely slow down. Garrett taking up high, but Emotion doing a very good job actually, continuing to follow everything up, and Seabass can turn that one in. Lovely passing play, finally getting everyone forward, and it was control that allowed them to do it.
Even though all three up there, you see Illusion recognizing Ty has nothing left in the tank. He comes across, kills that ball again right in front of the net, and then that third man again. Everybody becoming involved, leading to goals. They need to keep that up, but it's not easy to do against a team like NRG.
Seems like the way for Emotion to get their goals is just to try and force the goalkeeper to react. Keep those players around, hit off that backboard, just do whatever you can to make them uncomfortable. Yet another demo. It will not make too much of a difference. So Seabass gonna get that straight over to Ty. It was a nice idea for a play. Accuracy was just not quite there, but they are still 1-0 up. Still looking for their first game conversion. Seabass now gets himself up in the air, off the crossbar. There'll be a follow-up, but no, it is Jacob there in time. But Motion did not commit forward. They should be safe, or will they? No, they will not. Fireburner given too much time, space, and now he gets himself a goal.
For him to play that off the wall, but the decision-making here, rather than going for that aerial immediately, he lets it settle. He gets to the other side of the ball and then places it back near post. Really difficult to read, but good awareness coming out from Fireburner.
Automatically tied back up. Ty will try and keep that one away, but nope. Bounced too far away from him to get there in time. Flicked over into the corner. Motion will be safe. Oster over here, but two players committed. Ty, you're going to have to get something good on that. He did get himself a meaty touch, so keeps Emotion safe. Need to really avoid those double commits, especially against a team as good at punishing as NRG are. That is going to be dangerous. Jacob pushes that straight back into the middle. And Emotion did very well from this position last time, but with all three defenders back, might be a little bit more difficult, but they've managed to get everyone moving. And a second touch pushes that straight into the corner. Fireburn will be happy to see that. But Emotion are controlling those two middle boosts, gives them so much more resources to work with. But for the time being, pressure is now off. Lucian gets into the side. No one committed those, so he didn't pull anyone out of the position. Long play. Seabass will be able to leave that and push into the corner, but I think he might wait too long. No, not quite. It's a very annoying paradox that you have when you play against NRG. You don't want to play it too fast because you know they've got someone remaining at the backline who can force it back into your half. You don't want to play it too slow because, well, they're just going to come and hit you for it.
You even saw Jacob trying to do it there. He moved up front, trying to go for a bump. Couldn't get it, but still making full use of his opportunity. Denies him boost and then rotates back in for another bump. Just frustrating. Oh, never mind. Garrett's back on defense. Of course he's back. But
still a good idea. For the time being, keeps it away. Fireburner will try and go for the double tap. Gets it all the way down, hits it off the post. Save actually from Seabass. Garrett will try and take this for yet another opportunity then off the backboard. It's going to be the follow-up as Ty pushes that one straight down. 100 seconds left in this matchup. Emotion showing signs of being a real threat to teams in these future weeks. But their focus for the time being will not be on these final 90 seconds, where they still need to get one more goal if they want to try and continue their hopes for a clean sweep. There goes Ty with one fake, but could not turn it into the net.
Well, we've had two questions for both these teams. Is NRG going to be back to back to back to back champions? Is Emotion going to be able to hang with the best?
Well, no offense to them, but Emotion are no set to destroy. This team is here to play. It's been very interesting to see how they go about their offense. Ty will try and control Seabass. Takes out Garrett, so it's going to allow Ty to go all the way. This is going to give so much space. And it seems like they're fully aware now that those 50-50s that work out for them are giving them shots on net. Ty wanted to try and force one and drop it down in front of the net for someone on his team to come through for the shot. Just not quite working out.
I do like the difference as well in that air dribble. You saw it earlier from Seabass where he passed it off. He let his teammate take the shot. Instead, this time, I'm going to carry it the whole way. I'm going to force 50-50, draw somebody out of net. But they're mixing it up. They're trying to keep NRG on their toes. It's part of the only reason why the scoreline is still tied.
The only thing I haven't seen out from Emotion yet is a proper cutting infield pass. Well, any real passing plays, it seems like it's one player that carries and hope that something can happen. We saw a couple of really good passing plays from them in the opening game, but we're going to head into overtime. Once this ball hits the floor, Emotion will have one last opportunity to try and force something, and it will not work out. Overtime, NRG and Emotion.
This series has definitely been all over, from the first game having 11 goals to this second game being a complete shutout. Third could go either way as NRG tries to move this back downfield.
You've got to be challenging those. Do not give Jacob that much space. Emotion have already got punished for that sort of situation before. Need to make sure they are right in the face. Seabass wanted to do something with the ceiling. Players have got so much better recently at trying to deal with that, and that's going to be the third man in the rotation, taking out from the play, giving NRG more space to do what they want. There is an extra demo, but no pace on the play. That's going to go the entire length of the pitch. Emotion need to hold their nerves. They have been slightly shaky in these situations before. Time for them to finally convert. Fireburner, ball up in the air. Garrett has got the shot off the crossbar, looks for the follow-up, but it bounces too low. Very difficult to try and read those. That will go the entire length of the pitch. Can Jacob get there in time? No, he cannot. Ty goes coast to coast, and Emotion have picked up their first win of the RLCS.
Good vision as well by Emotion at the end here. All three players from NRG up, spending so much boost on that play, not able to even get close to back on time, and all it takes is a long clear and bar down.
Congratulations, that's all I can say. Very well played indeed. And they controlled the offense. They really did. 14 shots compared to 4 on the side of Emotion. Now, that brings up a couple of cases of maybe a bit more shooting accuracy could help out for them. But for the time being, a complete role reversal from the previous series. This time, NRG on the back foot, unable to do anything against the unrelenting pressure of the Emotion opponents.
I mean, that's all they had to do from the beginning, and you saw it in game one when they were starting to take that lead, is they're forcing NRG to play back on defense. They need to find a way to make these guys make touches, and that's one of the benefits of those air dribbles. Even though they are super easily read, even though they are super telegraphed, it forces someone to at least go up and make a save, because these guys are good enough to where they can change the direction of where the ball is going to go, and you can't just leave it. You're not going to allow people to just dribble towards your net. You have to go up and do it. So despite it being very straightforward, it's working, and they need to keep doing that and applying that pressure. Otherwise, NRG is going to run over you. It's kind of what they do.
Well, very impressed so far with Emotion's ability to just control the ball. One player drives. Usually I'm not a fan, but for Emotion, it is working. Thanks. We had a thing going on here, Lola. I think it's over now.
I mean, all right.
I have to put up with enough puns from Cole, okay? I don't need more.
Right. And we got wave. All right, I got you.
I have to play with a man who always calls himself Collision Course, okay? And other such things.
Sure, that course
I do not need any more of this.
Sure, that course is set for the loss bracket.
Where's Carpet?
He's around, maybe. I don't know.
Garrett is going to take this ball. He's going to have an opportunity to try and take on Ty. Putting it up. Here comes Fireburner looking for the try. Put it off the backboard. Garrett's actually got no boost from that side. Hopefully he had enough when he was coming back. Instead, it's going to be stolen away. Final 30 seconds. Well, opening 30 seconds, sorry. It's Garrett looking for the clear. NRG already been put on that backboard, but Ty and the rest of the squad need to try and make more use of their possession. Currently hitting it and hoping. And that right now from Ty, not quite what he wanted, but he can try and do something with it. Almost managed to recover for a decent shot on net. Emotion controlling this opening minute, and that is going to go in. A rolling shot. Lawler, please.
Yeah. Fireburner's on defense, so is Garrett, and Garrett just... What? That is very unconventional for Garrett. I don't know how you want me to explain that whiff other than it was bad. But, all right, here we are. The emotion scores, I guess.
They'll take it. They certainly will. Fireburner looking to try and turn that one towards the net, but cannot quite do so. Garrett has to try and deal with that. Rare mistake from him earlier on in this game. Jacob was not running onto that one at all either.
Pressure from Emotion.
Fireburner looking to try and put this one up high. Garrett did this earlier. They didn't get any conversion. Here comes Garrett with the shot. That is very weak. Multiple players committed on the side of Emotion. However, still nothing for NRG. They are just looking slower at this point in time. More unsure of themselves. And there's no one for them to aim for. Like, they're basically trying to play Emotion at their own game with solo carries the entire way. This time it might work out. Fireburner trying to force the block shot. Could not quite do it. Starting to look slightly better now for NRG as they get more and more time on the ball. Just need to do something else with it.
They do need to get in a groove, as you stated. They're definitely playing Emotion's game. That's beautiful for Emotion. It's what they've been trying to accomplish so far this whole series, and it's allowing Emotion to pretty much go off. They're testing really well. They're sending a bunch of aggression, and even though they're double committing on some of them, it's okay as long as that one man back buys enough time to clear it out. It's something that NRG does really well with Garrett.
Jacob just is not able to get decent contact on the ball. Now Emotion can attempt to clear out. As NRG put up the siege. They will now control that midfield. They could go the entire way. Garrett has to push that into the corner. Ty, you can see how much he wants it. These long balls, just hoping for mistakes. That seems like what both teams are aiming for. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. Both these teams had plenty of game time. Remember, this is their second series that they've played today. So mechanical mistakes and tactical mistakes much less likely, especially at this pace. A little bit too slow. That maybe the only problem I can actually see occurring is maybe a double commit.
Which is weird because we did see Garrett make that one mistake, and it's the only goal that we have so far this game.
The slow pace does fit Emotion. As more time ticks away, Evolution wants to keep that one towards the midline. Here comes a shot. It's an open net, but there will not be a goal. Still, NRG pressing themselves forward, and finally turning it into the net is Garrett G, far left-hand side. And they just picked it up and really went forward with the pace, and that is what they're going to get for it.
When in doubt, give it to Garrett G. It's one of those situations that, you know, Jacob had to make a last-second effort. He tried to put a shot on net. It was wide open. He did miss wide. But the follow-up and the trust in his teammates. Fireburner able to get there, play a good pass off that backward back inside. Garrett's just able to clutch it and put good placement on.
Into the corner. NRG find themselves on the back foot. That's going to be a shot straight towards the middle, though. Needs to be higher and closer into the corners if you really want to challenge Jacob's defense. Seabass going to try for a block, but just does not have the boost.
Good patience as well by Jacob. Even though that contest could have went really bad, he waits for the pinch out, but another big block. Oh.
NRG, this is becoming a problem here, lads. Once again, almost caught out by another coast-to-coast shot. As Emotion now take control of the offense. No, Fireburner can now take over. But Ty, with a lovely challenge on that midfield, keeps it away. Final 40 seconds. Jacob just with a hopeful touch, and it's actually going to come out to something. A poor touch from Ty allows Fireburner to move forward. NRG will continue to press. Control those two midfield boosts. Nice cutting infield. But Garrett does get stopped. Emotion allowing the ball to be played around them, but now Jacob can try to take advantage of a mistake that was made. Don't get antsy now. Let that ball come to you. Final 10 seconds. And Emotion still in this series in what game that no one really gave them much of a chance at. Now they can go into overtime. Once this ball hits the floor, that can actually go the entire length of the pitch. But Jacob is back now. Emotion still trying to look for it. There'll be no one back on that midfield though. And we have hit overtime in game number 4. Emotion, if they take this, they can force a tiebreaker.
Well, the last time this happened was literally the game right before this. 1-1 overtime, Emotion came out on top.
And have to do it yet again. Seabass puts that one long. Illusion decides against it, realizing it was on less than 30 boost and didn't want to try and commit to something that could be a poor touch. But now NRG have got themselves forwards. And that is going to be a touch that takes it away. But here is the follow-up. Garrett G is going to quell all fears for NRG and their fans. Lovely pass over from Jacob, pulls it all the way out, and using that third, Garrett G's positioning as that third man comes in clutch.
For what was match point and a crucial moment as well for Garrett G, he was all or nothing on that play. Fireburner had a bad touch, was caught in the corner. Jacob was completely out of play. And if Garrett doesn't hit that shot just right, even if it's off and it bounces off that backboard a little bit, that's all 3 players on Emotion ready to transfer down the field and get an open net. So Garrett, kudos to you making that shot. That's a lot of trust to put in.
Yeah, Garrett G, I really have to say, the standout player on NRG. It was shaky from them, but he just seemed to be getting most of it right. We'll try not to bring up too often that atrocious
See
save.
it on overtime in a top 5 again.
That is the #1 play of the season. But for Emotion, a good coming out week for them. They've got next week off. They will not be playing, but that series, I think, will give them a lot more confidence heading into the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's a really good start for them. Obviously, they have 2 of their tougher matches at the very beginning of the season, but that week off, they have time to look, watch, try to learn what they can from these, because that's what it is this season for them. It's a very big learning process and seeing how fast they can pick up those new tactics.
Well, NRG remain 2-0 for this season. I think they'll take that. Emotion would have wanted a little bit more, but I think their performance, if they want to go on and learn, like we said earlier on, that's a good learning experience from them. However, I know some people that we can learn a lot from, and that is going to be our analyst desk. Axel Toss, over to you.
Nice match there for NRG. A 3-1 victory there over Emotion. They go 2-0 this week. Excuse me, a 2-0 for NRG, which is awesome for them. For Emotion, they went 0-2. But I want to echo what Shogun was saying there as far as their schedule today compared to, I guess, they had the hardest matches pretty much to start things off here, going up against effectively the #1 and 2 seed coming from last season, being NRG and Rogue. And that was a very interesting match we just saw. So let's take a look at the Mobile One High Performance replay. And remember, game 1, I think, at 11 goals, which ties the record for goals in a single game in RLCS.
Yeah. And we see Illusion getting 4 of those 5 goals. I don't know the last time a North American player scored 4 goals on NRG in a single game. I was saying they might not even score a goal this series, and they post up 5. The main problem, though, is they let up 6.
Yeah, their defense struggled there, and that was just a situation of NRG just coming back when it mattered. They were so cool under pressure. That's what you'd expect from the defending North American champs. But still, I was expecting, I predicted at least 2 shutouts, and that didn't happen either. And in fact, the fact that Emotion picked up a game against NRG, that goes to their credit.
But some shaky play from NRG, very slow play, a lot of wide open nets as well. It seemed like it was a little bit uncharacteristic. They needed this Jacob awesome flip pass to just win this game 4. Like, it could have went all the way to game 5. That's not a series that they want to continue at, like, that level. They need to pick it up if they want to be the 4-time North American champions.
Yeah, that was actually an insane pass, too, by Jacob. He might have even got his flip reset by hitting that ball, but he still might have even had enough time to use it anyway. But that was insane. NRG, cool as cucumbers, though.
Yeah, and it was funny.
I bet if you talk to them, I bet they'll say we had it the whole way.
Yeah, there's like no problem. But I mean, to kind of explain and explore that a little bit further. This NRG going into that match, we're like, this should be pretty easy because based on all the data we've had, NRG has just been so dominant. But Emotion kept it close, as we've been saying. That first game was crazy, and then a couple overtimes both of which went NRG's direction, could have in theory gone Emotion's direction. What's the explanation here for NRG, considering they played incredibly well in their first series today, a 3-0 over Renegades, but then it's much closer there against Emotion. What kind of explains that?
So one weakness I saw with NRG is none of them are really 1v1 players. And I saw a lot of times where Fireburner would try and do the dribble and go against the goalie, and they failed multiple times. Garrett, he tried a couple of those as well, and he just threw it off the backboard. They don't have that finisher for dribbles, so I don't know why they're going for those, because they're so good at that midfield pass and just open up the field more, pass back and forth, and that's their strength. It seems like they were trying to focus on some of their weaknesses, maybe polish them up, because maybe they thought they had the series in the bag. It was a little bit weird series for NRG, but I assume they'll bounce back pretty easily.
Yeah, and in the games that they dominated earlier, a lot of it was midfield control. And then also, they're probably the most physical team in North America, and they didn't really have as much bumps and demos as we've seen them have in the past. So, you know, it could just be them getting back into things they didn't play last weekend. So, but they still started out 2-0. So you got to give it to them.
And I got to say too, no matter what team is involved here in the RLCS, it's all top play. These are the best players and teams in the world. So in any match that we see, it can literally go in any direction depending on what's going on that particular day. Speaking of which, though, guys, we have one more match to go here today. It is G2 going up against Renegades. We're going to take another break here from the Rocket League Championship Series. But Renegades versus G2, best of 5 as week 1 continues for the RLCS. Be right back.